Hey everybody, my name's John McCoy. Welcome back to John McCoy Art, and we are resuming our learning to draw using Andrew Loomis's Fun with a Pencil. And this is part 6. And what we did last time was the blocky treatment. We discovered that we've been learning with the Block ball how it's a sphere with axes, and we're adding features to that, and how it adds interest and realism to put in a little bit of blocky square-like features combined with this smooth sphere ball. So the combination of the two adds a little bit of realism because of the presence, the reality of bones beneath the skin and stuff like that. Today, we're going to resume our studies and our practice with expression because human life is full of emotion. There's all kinds of different emotions, and what really adds character beyond just the physical features of a person are the expressions they offer. Real quick before, I'm going to address 2 comments that I received in previous videos. Number 1 being somebody asked me about what sketchbook I'm using. Really, it doesn't matter too much. You can use any old sketchbook, but this one at the time cost $20. I don't know with inflation now, but excellent for writing and sketching, accepts all dry media, acid-free paper. Acid-free paper is good, but most of them have that. But it's good for archival, so these things do not ruin themselves over time. It's 11 by 14, 125 sheets for 20 bucks. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not going to think about that because I'm going to focus on this lesson. Second thing I wanted to bring up is somebody commented that I was using a 2B, which is true. I was using 2B, and they said, well, it's a little difficult to see them, so I'm going to use 4B in this one. Thanks for that comment. That was a great tip. All right, now expression here. Basically, Andrew Loomis says that expression, before we get drawing, I'm going to give a little brief overview of it. But basically that every human being has the same expressions. It's just they're worn on different faces. Everybody has a different face. And he says a fat man looks surprised in about the same way as a thin fellow. He does the same things with a different face. So understanding that principle, and that there's basically a chart of expressions where everybody's features do the same things to express that emotion, like the eyebrows raise or they squint or so forth, happens to every different human face, although every human face is different. So real quick, we have annoyance, anger, fury. He's going across in a gradient where it is more shallow or watered down to more intense. Starting with annoyance, anger, fury, melancholy, worry, fear is most intense. And some of these vary a little bit. Remorse is different than suspicion and so forth, but he's categorized them in this way. Surprise, suspicion, disgust, horror, disdain, remorse, anticipation, elation. This one is probably the most obvious that it's going in a spectrum. It's like generally amused, elation, enjoyment, delight, glee, hilarity. And we're just laughing by the time we're having so much fun, we're laughing. So real quick, we're going to move on to the next page so that we can begin with our exercises on page 26. And we're just going to go through as many emotions as we can get within the time period. We're already at 3 minutes and 24 seconds, so we don't want to take too long with how we do this. But of course, we want to give it its proper amount of interest and effort into each drawing so that we're learning. So maybe two will get done. We'll start with a smile. We'll read this real quick. So he starts with the ball, like we've been doing. He draws in the axes. And he says, the ball, the pieces, the mouth, the eyes, and then other details. And he says the main characteristics of the smile, which is what we're reviewing now, the smile. The main characteristics of the smile are squinting of the eyes, as you can see. A genuine smile will generally create these wrinkles in the corners of the eyes, whereas a fake one will not generate those wrinkles. I'm adding that because it's something that I know. Are squinting of the eyes, fold under eyes. The pieces are full and point towards the ear. So it's coming out to the side. It's like this linear squishing around the eye, which is the squinting of the eye. The pieces are full and point toward the ear. Mouth wide, fits between pieces. Okay, so that's these pieces he's referring to, the cheeks and so forth. So in this case, I'm going to draw so that we can actually focus on advancing this. I'm going to draw one version here, one larger version, so we can focus on these kind of like the ellipse there, you can see that the front is what we're going to be taking from that. And then we'll do the side line, and then this eye level. Now we're going to add directly on. This is a little different. Let's change it up. We're moving it on and we're advancing. You guys have done a great job on these previous videos. And so let's advance by drawing on the same one. So now we'll draw the pieces, which the eyebrows happen to be up here. When we're talking about smiling, they're raised. And then the eye line, of course, we have these eyes that are closed. And then we have the ear. We'll drop the ear in there. The ear doesn't change too much, obviously. Most of the features that create the expressions are in the front of the face. And then, of course, we put this nose in here. And then the cheeks. The cheeks tend to puff out when somebody's smiling. So you can see it breaks from the contour of the sphere. And then following that line, we have the chin, this other jowl line, and the chin right here. Now we're going to advance upon it by looking at this. And what is he showing with this? He hasn't started with inks yet. He's just adding detail. But notice these lines show the smile quite a bit. And then in some of it is anatomical detail that does not necessarily contribute. Certain parts of the face do not contribute to the smile, but some definitely do. And what are those? Well, one of the main features he's talking about is the eyes. And he has this little wrinkles build up by the cheek pushing up and these little wrinkles appearing on the corners of the eyes. And of course, what do you guys think is the most important feature that creates the smile? Probably the smile itself. So here we have this very contented smile going across, and that shows a lot already. It makes me want to smile just looking at that, seeing that line come in. A lot of times you'll notice when artists draw these characters, when they're drawing it, the same face that is showing on this guy is showing on their face, although you can't see my face right now. And that just shows you like you're really getting into it. Now we're going to add some details into this thing. And we're at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. You'll notice I've been switching around with media. The important part is to get a lighter material and then a more permanent material for Andrew Loomis's technique. So I've been switching around with all kinds of things. But here we're going to put in the details. And this eye is so squinted that it's practically closed. And we are, as he says, we are encouraged to advance and build upon the underlying sketch we've created. Some of these features you'll notice are important to the smile, and some others are simply anatomical features like this hair on top of the head and the hair on the side and so forth. But these lines right here in the corners of the eye, you'll notice are one of the biggest hallmarks. And even on the edge here, how we see the skin on the edge of the face wrinkling from the actual smile itself shows pure contentment in this smile. And it really makes you want to smile seeing this little guy smiling. But like I said, in this nose itself, the nose does not change too much. What changes is the way the cheeks and these corner wrinkles start to appear and how this cheek gets lifted up, the corner of the cheek. One tip, and I'm just going to do this, focus on this one face, but one tip is that if you're wondering where to put this cheek line, it's always, in every person, is going to go above or to the side of the nostril. You're never going to find it going into or underneath the nostril. It is a line that hugs the side of the nostril like that. Now, you will see on this side, it looks like it's going into, but what really is happening is that the form of the nose is extending out in this direction, and therefore what we see is overlapped by the nose. But in reality, this is not going into the nose. This is going just like this on that side, but you just can't see it, if that makes sense to you.
And then this little line gets pulled up by this muscle right here. This is probably another hallmark of the smile right there. That's muy, I almost said in Spanish because I speak Spanish as well. I was going to say it's muy importante, but that's very important for expressing the smile. Is that this guy looks very happy. He looks like a very happy character. And then of course the smile itself. But you will notice, and I will talk about it in later videos, is that some of these features can exist, and if the other features don't exist, it says a different emotion. Like this could be smiling, but the eyes could be open, and these wrinkles could not be here, and it wouldn't look so contented. That's just an example. It wouldn't look like such a happy smile there. But I hope as you're drawing this, you're smiling at your own characters as you're making them. And another thing I talked about is how the cheek gets lifted when you look at somebody's face. If they're not smiling, all of those skin and muscles are going to let loose, and it's going to not pop out so much from the contour. But they actually get lifted by the muscles in the smile being pulled out. So you'll notice that, which is really cool to analyze. And then of course, these features don't change too much. But there you have it. And I'm gonna put this hair here to show that. But just drawing this character makes me smile, honestly. It's quite nice to see and to express this emotion. And you'll notice he has little details like the wrinkles going here and the bags under the eyes. And why does this happen? Why do these little bags happen? Because the cheeks are pushing up. And of course, all those little folds which are normally flat is seen. Imagine that my hands are seen from the profile. And when this cheek pushes up, it pushes that little bag under the eye and creates that. As if seen from the side view, you have that little bag under the eye and then the cheek. And when it's normal and you're not smiling so much, it becomes more like this, where you don't really see that indentation and the form, if that makes sense. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this process of learning with Andrew Loomis's Fun with a Pencil, and stay tuned for the next part to this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed drawing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and of course, God bless you.